Hi everyone and welcome back. In our last episode, we talked about sustainability and slow fashion with designer Priel Jain. Today we're exploring something equally important, how traditional craftsmanship and modern technology can work together and what that means for building a responsible jewelry brand. I'm Ashal, the founder of Emerine, and I'm still learning what it takes to create jewelry that's both meaningful and beautiful. Today I'm joined by Prakruti Rawal, who's a senior jewelry designer, merchandiser, and a design head who's worked across high jewelry, CAD-based designs, international markets, and production management. She represents the modern jewelry designer, someone who balances creativity, business, technology, and craft all at once. Prakruti, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, so before we dive into design and production, I'd love to start with something personal. So you've worn so many hats, like jewelry designer, merchandiser, design head, instructor. So if you had to describe your journey in jewelry so far in just one sentence, what would it be?
I think the keyword will be dynamic. The entire experience has been very dynamic and a lot of learnings.
Okay, yeah, I think that really captures what I want to explore today because jewelry design isn't about like just sketching pieces. It's more about like the production, the sourcing, the technology, and the people behind every single piece. So let's actually unpack how that actually works. So you've worked on both high-end jewelry and commercial collections. So when you're designing a piece, how do you decide whether it should be trendy or timeless? And do you think about if that piece will stay relevant and like the emotional or style like of it? And do you think how it suits for the customer?
Definitely, it's very much dependent on the customer and the client you are catering to first. Second, the materials. If the material is precious, the designing definitely takes a lot more timeless efforts and also craftsmanship. But if the market is like fashion jewelry market, working with brass or something, we definitely take care of the budgets more, and it depends a lot on the you know how we are, what sort of market we are catering, what sort of clientele we are focusing on, how things will sell, how the marketing budget goes. So everything then, directs according to how we are, what is the clientele.
Yeah, I think the material that you're using is very important and whether it like lasts and becomes timeless. So I'm just curious about like if there's any piece that you've designed and you're like been surprised by how long it stayed relevant.
Yes, I have designed a lot of pieces when I was working with a London-based startup, and we did a lot of timeless pieces. Some of them are still into launching, but some which were launched are still in the market, and they are doing very good internationally. So I think Ang's collection, and it went really good. So I think I'm very proud of that.
Yeah, okay. So moving on, you use tools like CAD, Rhino, digital illustration, but you also work closely with artisans. So like, can you tell me about a time when CAD couldn't do what a craftsman's hand could, or the other way around? Like, how do you decide what should be digital and what should stay handmade?
Um, yes, definitely the craftsmanship that a hand does is timeless, precious, and also it is very much connected to our emotions. So there are pieces wherein which are generally made in high jewelry. The pieces which we do in high jewelry have a lot of different materials together. So making it over CAD is very difficult because we have to set different types of stones.
Yeah.
Semi-prilled stones, then diamonds. Every stone has its own polishing technique. So we cannot make it on everything on CAD and just join it and make it like a commercial piece. So whenever we do high jewelry, we generally prefer to do it from hand only because it's always a timeless piece, and we make very less pieces because they are expensive. They are made of so many different material altogether, and it's very hard to set them on CAD. So pieces like that are always made from hand only.
Okay. So, do you think that modern tools make jewelry more sustainable, or do you think they create like new challenges that we haven't found out about yet?
From my personal experience, I feel working over CAD is more feasible and sustainable because we don't have to then fill inventories. We don't have to make a lot of dies if the product is not selling or not doing good in the market. And I think it saves a lot of effort and a lot of material in terms of gold, silver, diamonds, and all of that. And storing them, packing them, everything is takes a lot of things from the environment, and is, I feel, is also a burden to the brand who is keeping it, or keeping a track of the inventory. So I feel if we do CAD and make renders out of it, which looks originally exactly like the jewelry will look, test the market, understand how how people are reacting over it, if they are liking it or not. For an example, you might design 5 pieces and only 2 pieces do very good in the market, so you will not lose the production cost of the other three which are not doing good. So I think CAD always makes things more sustainable for the environment.
Okay. And okay, this one's a bit selfish because I'm literally at this stage with Emery, but right now I'm making each piece by hand, like in a small batch. So, from your experience, what changes when a brand moves from the slighter, larger production? So, like, what's the first sign that told you a brand was ready to scale?
I think the customer definitely,
Mhm.
and the demand of whatever piece you are designing, whatever you are making. The first thing that is most important is the reaction of the customer. If there is a piece that is selling a lot of times, you have to make it a lot more times, and you are making it by hand, then it also becomes like a challenge to you to maintain that inventory. And as much you get reorders of the pieces, is I think the sign to now start scaling over pieces. And I feel then you need to make like a proper channel of pieces as to how things will go, how you will maintain the quality, what sort of quality control parameters you will be keeping, what are the things that you need to reorder before planning the inventory and everything. So I think the first step is to understand the business and the reaction of the customer you are dealing with.
Okay. So, what mistakes do young brands make when they're trying to grow too fast? And like, what should I watch out for?
Generally, people do not try to study the market properly,
Mm,
and I have seen a lot of brands clashing and crashing because generally what happens is they do not understand what the market is looking for. They start designing and developing pieces which they like. But
mm,
if you really want to go big, if you really want to sustain in the market and also have your own brand language, you really need to understand what the customer is expecting, and then give them something that is also a bit unique but something that is more acceptable in the market. So, understanding the clientele and understanding the people you are catering to on the ground is very important before stepping and investing a lot of amount in the business.
yeah, so I like yeah, that's really helpful because I imagine that the human side matters a lot in this too. So how important is it really for designers to understand the people making the jewelry, not just the product side, but the human side? And does that awareness change how you design?
Yes, because it's very important to understand the human side of the people who are into the market and who are actually developing the pieces for you. Because then your process is more innovative, I would say, and more you understand the production more. So you design in a way which was very feasible for the production unit also, and for for an ease to understand how it goes, how people does it, how polishing works, what is possible, what is not possible. Settings, some settings are very expensive, So according to your budget, you need to understand if this will be a feasible thing for me or not. Should I do this or not? So things like this, understanding the craftsmanship and understanding the people who are doing it then gives you an upper hand to understanding the budget also of the jewelry. So it's always a good thing to actually sit with them, talk to them, take their experiences, understand how they can help you. So
Okay, now my fourth question is you've worked behind the scenes in production with like multiple vendors and manufacturers. So, where do you think the most waste or environmental harm happens in the jewelry making process?
um so we can split this question into 2 points. First is sourcing, and second is production. So the most harm, environmental harm, happens in the mining. When you mine the metals, when you mine diamonds, stones, and everything. So I think that is the larger damage that is happening to our earth because of mining metals. After this, the second most the waste that comes from is the production part is when we do cleaning, or when we are working with polishing. Like you must have heard of words like rhodium, micron plate, things like that. So they involve a lot of chemical exchange, a lot of chemical dipping. You bath the jewelry in chemicals and all of that. So I think the most harmful effect, the second harmful effect in this production part is the polishing thing.
Mhm.
And yeah, how you are disposing the chemical and everything is very harmful.
Okay, and when you're choosing who to work with, like vendors, manufacturers, how do you balance speed, cost, and quality? And do you think about the environmental responsibility in those decisions too?
um I definitely I have been working with multiple sort of vendors. So my personal approach towards vendors are usually on working with people who are working on small scales, like the Karigars we call in India, have less access to the world, who are working remotely in their small houses and all. So generally, I work with them, and I really appreciate their craftsmanship because in India, it's very much they are very much exploited. So my approach is that, and I think yeah, I think. The second most important thing that we take care of while selecting a vendor is the timelines, how they are working on our timelines, because it is very important to get the orders on time. So these two things are here.
So, what are some small but effective changes that a designer can actually make to reduce the waste, like things that are realistic and not just aspirational?
um I think the most important thing in this question is reducing the storage of inventory.
Mhm.
Try doing CADs, try doing everything digital. So it does not require physical efforts in making the jewelry, storing the jewelry, and then taking a lot of pressure if that sells or not. Because again and again melting the metal is also a waste, and we can easily reduce that step by only making CADs, doing renders. There are a lot of new startups that are coming on rendering, wherein you can just put any sort of finish and color on the metal, and then it can just you can just show your client, see, this is the order that you have given, and the piece will look somewhere like this. And I give you 10 designs, you can, if you select only two, then the 8 designs that you have rejected is something wherein I have saved a lot of effort, and I have saved a lot of uh, you know packaging issues, all the efforts that will go in the production and everything. So I think going digital is very cost effective also, and also it saves, it's sustainable, and it's very environmental friendly.
Yeah, okay. So this is something that I struggle with as a student building a brand, and I feel like the pressure to make Emerine both meaningful and profitable. So from your experience, do you think responsibility and commercial success can like really coexist? And what does that balance look like in real life?
Um, Definitely. If you study about brands, if you already see case studies of how the brands are evolving in this generation, is more on taking care of the responsibilities that we as a brand own in the market, and also keeping the essence intact is very important. And also it is so what makes it different is you are delivering something that is pure, that you are promising to the market, and you are keeping a track of everything and trying to give give the customer the value that they are paying you. So I think that makes a lot more difference from the brands that are already existing. So it's definitely, you can take care of the responsibility factor also, and then definitely scale it. If you are providing something good to the market, it will definitely come back. So I think you can do great.
Yeah, okay. So, like, my last question is that many young designers today want to become conscious and responsible, but we also want to use like AI, CAD, 3D printing, e-commerce, and all the modern tools. So, what advice would you give to students like me who want to build brands that are modern but still thoughtful and responsible? And how do we navigate that?
um I think you should definitely go for adopting more technologically upgraded tools which are available in the market, and which also saves your time, your efforts, and also take care of the sustainability factor that you are focusing more. The second thing that you can also do as a brand is also try to understand the beauty and the craftsmanship of the people who are making it by hand. Understand how they do it, because somehow we are losing that factor of handmade stuffs by adopting a lot of things from the technological upgradation. So I think we can create a balance wherein we also choose technologically upgraded things where we feel that the sustainable factor is more, and we also try to uh, you know um, upgrade or upskill our knowledge in terms of how people used to do it earlier by their hand and all. So you do two things in this matter. You also try to keep things sustainable and not prefer wastage by studying and understanding and researching the market by AI, or by doing CADs, showing them and everything. And then when the thing is in like you get the order, everything is done, you try to get it made by a person who has been doing it for years, and also try to help them sustain. So I think a balance, a bridge between both of them can do wonders for you.
Yeah, I
Any that's it.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I think I'm definitely going to use like technological like advancements to make sure that it's very sustainable. So I keep that in mind when I keep building Emerine. Okay, so Prakruti, thank you so much for sharing your journey and your insights with us today. What really stood out to me is that sustainability isn't just about the materials, it's more about like the mindset and the decisions that people make in their long-term thinking. So conversations like this really help me understand what kind of brand that I actually want to create. So, to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in. And if you're curious about how creativity meets responsibility in jewelry design, I hope this episode gave you something to think about. So until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep designing with intention. Thank you.